know it's hard to see the beastie because she's, where is she? She's right kind of there, walking back and forth behind the far end of her crate, where that end of her crate has a door into her playpen area. Perhaps the scraping, gnawing noises are giving you an idea of what she's doing. She's still teething, big time. In fact, last night I thought I was going to be sporting a new pierced lip look because she was playing. She's never done any aggressive biting ever. She was playing and she went to grab me and she grabbed my lower lip and I was like, oh my god, like I was expecting like a blood gusher. I gotta tell you, it hurt. Luckily, that was not the case. But I did give her a, today I got one of those smoked dried beef femur chew things that, for dogs. It's an actual dried smoked beef femur. It probably weighs half as much as she does. But I wanted to give her something really good to teeth on because a lot of the teething chews she's going through alarmingly fast to the point that they become a safety hazard of being too small, and you worry that she would try to put the whole thing in her mouth. So, and also, it's not interactive at all to just lie there in her crate with a bully stick. So I decided, obviously I'm giving her this with supervision because she's already shown that she can pull the ends off it. But there is like bits of dried meat still stuck to it and like all over it. So she's like having the physical exercise of flipping this thing all over and carrying it and moving it around and kind of wrestling with it, and also the mental exercise of trying to figure out which is the best way to turn it so that she can get to the parts where she can smell that there's still little bits of meat on it. And I feel like it's also giving her really good biting, chewing, teething kind of experience that maybe she wasn't getting from some of the other teething toys or chews. And she's definitely enjoying it. See that little tail. There's that little tail. She's definitely getting a kick out of having this giant thing to play with and to chew on. And I just have to keep looking at, because every once in a while you hear that ripping sound and it's just like a piece of basically like really dry, almost brittle beef jerky type stuff that comes off. I just want to make sure it's not actual bone fragments breaking off, because she only broke one piece of bone off that seemed to have a sharp edge, and of course I took that away. But she's thoroughly enjoying chewing on it, and I feel like it's letting her bite really hard, which when they're teething they want to do, and there aren't a lot of things that she can bite this hard on. So I think she's finding it gratifying as far as the whole teething, discomfort, and of course there's the added bonus that it tastes good and occasionally little bits of something edible fall off. So I wish you could see her better. I mean, she's on a dark carpet. You can see I put down those little self-adhesive, carpet squares, like square foot tiles of carpeting. I did most of her playpen area, just so that it wouldn't be so slippery, so that when you throw the ball and stuff, she doesn't slide around. I did leave the area, there she is. I did leave the area that you can see where the floor is still the whitish color of the linoleum tile. I left that without carpet because that is still at night where I put her litter box down. And I did not want any, when she occasionally has a near miss with the litter box, I wanted to stay easy to clean up. But yeah, so that's her playing with her here. It must be I don't think they're supposed to salt them, but maybe it's just that it's dry, because every few minutes she does stop and get a drink. You can hear her getting a drink as she's back. But yeah, she's she is loving having this. So it was definitely worth buying. But again, I would definitely, watch your dog with it, because it feels like it's solid and there's no way they could take it apart, but she had ripped one end off of it within the first 5 minutes, which I thought was pretty amazing. But definitely you do want to supervise so that if they break it into pieces that are, either small enough that they could swallow the piece of bone, or that it's sharp that they could cut the inside of their mouth or something with it. And now she's doing what I was hoping for, which is cleaning up the little pieces of dried meat that came off it. When I put the carpet down this morning, the first time I was out of the room for 5 minutes, she ripped up one of the pieces of carpet. She found an edge. The edges along the wall she can't get to start, trying to lift them. But one of the edges that's open to her, she managed to rip up. So I'm hoping that by giving her something as interesting as this big bone, and we can see my idea failing miserable. Percy! Percy! What you doing? What you doing? Hi, good girl. Yeah, look at that. I can now describe what I think is my failure. I was hoping that if there was something as exciting as this big bone and all these little tiny pieces of dried meat that it was dropping all over, that she would think of the carpet as old news by the time she was done playing with the bone, and therefore she would not feel the need to try to rip up the carpet. The fact that she's finished picking up the pieces of meat, more or less, and immediately went in the corner and started digging at the carpet, has me thinking that my plan is not working. But we can hope, because the sooner she gets used to the carpet and stops thinking of it as something new and interesting, and therefore potentially something to play with, hopefully, and I do have more tiles. It comes 12 of those squares per box, and I bought 3 boxes, so probably I really only needed 2 boxes. I only used a box and maybe a third, but like I said, I've intentionally left a pretty good size area open because that's where her litter box goes at night, and I don't want any potential accidents to go on the carpet. But I did buy 3 boxes so that, I figured ahead of time that there's always the possibility she would either rip one or have an accident, or just, something would happen that it needed to be replaced. So I'd rather have a couple extra tiles than be short. And I think once the whole area is carpeted and she can't so easily get her little claws or teeth under the edge of them, I think it'll be much harder for her to try to rip one up. But right now, while the ones that have an open edge are still there, I think she just sees that as a weak spot and a place to try to start prying it up. Anyway, she's back to enjoying her bone. Let's hope she does that for a while. Maybe takes a nap for a little bit. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.